Well, it's happening again. Sony can't stop winning and will maintain its focus on live service games. Yes, even after the Concord disaster and after Marathon failure and closing Destiny 2, what can go wrong? Sometimes I think managers of big companies nowadays just want to retire, simply killing companies they managed. Or maybe it's a big evil plan of competitors and Microsoft infiltrated their secret agents in Sony and Sony did the same with Microsoft. Who knows? Otherwise, I just don't get it. Why is this still happening? They already cancelled most of their live service projects, lost their money and are now making layoffs and closing studios. Maybe I am a genius, guys, and only I can think about this for more than a couple of minutes, but it's obvious that the chosen strategy simply doesn't work. I mean, at all. If your competitor chose to kill himself making stupid decisions, it doesn't mean that it's your achievement. Just remember, guys, how many good new games PlayStation made for PS3 or PS4. Thanks to PS4 and its lineup of truly great single-player games, PlayStation has reached where it is today. Riding the wave of such success, the PlayStation 5 initial sales were so strong that people were hoping for a continuation of the company's policy of releasing big, cool single-player games, new IPs and games across various genres. Instead, they received cautious sequels, remakes and live services, which are released extremely rarely. Seriously, I thought they learned the lesson. And now, in addition to all I said, Sony says that they refuse to sell discs. And apparently in their new console there won't be a disk drive? And even worse, Sony will no longer sell consoles at a loss. You probably already know that consoles themselves cost what they cost because platform holders sell them at a loss. And if you try, for example, to build a PC that's compatible with a PS5 or Xbox Series X, it will cost more than the console itself. Platform holders receive and have received most of their profits from a percentage of sales from their store. After all, unlike a PC, if you want to release your game on a console, you only have one option: release it in that console store. Even microtransactions in these console games are subject to a so-called platform holder tax. Add to that games from their first-party studios, which are usually sold exclusively for their console, as well as various online multiplayer subscriptions. All of these ultimately generated significant profits, and it was advantageous to sell your console below its market value and hook players into your ecosystem. And now you can forget about it. Welcome to the world where consoles will cost $1,000 and games for them will cost $80-90. And don't forget how all companies now want to use AI for their games. Besides that, they will make different AI slops and lay off people who work on them. They will justify their prices by the high cost of development. What a wonderful console generation awaits us, guys. I don't know what you think, but for me all this reminds me of how Ubisoft fell. But at one time they made really cool and original games. Beyond Good and Evil, Splinter Cell, Far Cry 3, Assassin's Creed, Rayman, Valiant Hearts, or maybe someone can remember Child of Light. A lot of different and great games. And then Ubisoft made a decision to make their live service, which should bring them millions of dollars. And all we know is where Ubisoft is now. It's sad to see how once good companies turn into trash, trying to squeeze every last cent out of their player base, while forgetting that they just need to make that the players want. Just good games. Nothing special. It wouldn't be so sad if Microsoft did the right thing with Xbox, but even they have bought a bunch of studios and are doing nothing but closing them and lay off staff. And their next console, judging by the news and rumors, will be more of a PC than a console. This is what happens when competition between big companies disappears. If Microsoft had been around during the Xbox 360 era and Sony during the PlayStation 4 era, things would have been completely different. It would have been a life or death battle for every potential buyer of the console and its games. And it is so stupid that it's actually so easy right now to bring back players' trust. Just make good single-player games like you did it before. and you will get that money you want so much. The only good news is that the PC market will grow and more games will be released on the platforms at once, except of course exclusives from Sony's own studios and Nintendo games. Ah yeah, I forgot about that. Nintendo is a different story, but Sony again is unclear about what they are doing. Their PC ports are often in poor condition at release, and the release of these ports was incredibly strange. How about releasing your games on PC years after their console release at full price and without any advertising, and then being surprised that sales didn't meet your expectations? But those expectations might be unrealistic, because despite poor marketing and launch problems, history shows Sony games on PC actually turn a solid profit. And if their quality had been slightly better, if Sony had advertised them properly, or even better, if they had offered discounts since they were no longer new, everything would have been much better. Or at least they should have released the games in chronological order, right, Nathan Drake? For example, I've never played the Uncharted series and don't know anything about its plot, and maybe I would have given it a try if they had actually released their franchise from the very first game, instead of jumping straight to the final chapters. What kind of nonsense is this? How am I supposed to know all these characters and their relationships, or empathize with them if I'm seeing them for the first time? So many idiotic decisions were made to get to the point where we are now. Even former head of PlayStation, Sean Layden, criticized their decision to abandon PC ports. As I've said many times, the future belongs to the indie sector and AA games. While crazy managers at large companies continue to go crazy, destroying their companies with their decisions, small creative teams of developers are creating truly unique, fun, interesting and diverse games. And the example of Expedition 33 showed how a small team of people passionate about creating something incredible, something they truly want to show and tell the world, can create a true masterpiece for little money, quickly recouping the investment and bringing global recognition to the developers. And we don't need any microtransactions, huge open worlds spanning hundreds of hours, or constant content updates. We just need a truly good game, and the players will do the rest. And I just recently talked about these games on my channel. If you haven't seen them, check them out. They include a card roguelike, a co-op shooter with magic and robots in the Wild West setting, and a mystical fishing game with Twin Peaks vibes. And yeah, please tell me what you think about the current situation with Sony and its consoles and the gaming industry in general. Maybe you think we are heading in the right direction and I'm exaggerating. I don't know, guys, I'm just sharing my opinion and you can share yours in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you soon in my new video.